At first I was a bit slightly apprehensive about it, in that they were my peers and friends as well, going through my years of hockey playing. But actually they've been a great support, having those guys around me, so I sort of know what people are looking for from a training session and from a club.
We've looked at this year, tried to be as realistic as possible with the group we've got and the kind of changes from previous years. So we've got our own set of targets which are kind of pinned up on the changing room, and we kind of keep referring back to when we go back into the changing room for our team talks.
This season is probably the most different season of all the seasons I've played here. Last year we had a whole group of players who were playing international hockey, and it's just a very different environment this year, but one that I'm really enjoying.
I think we almost lost 9 or 10 of what was a first team squad last year, so that would hurt anybody, but we've coped pretty well, and the senior players in the group have really stepped up as well, so I'm pretty pleased with where we are, considering we did have such a big change all within 1 year.
And WotC brings a different approach to it, having been a player himself, so has a feel for what sort of drills players enjoy doing and what the sort of ones they find probably a little bit more boring, a little bit more difficult, and what's great for us is we're fortunate to have that kind of facility of the cage hockey on a Thursday night, which is something we've loved doing for the last 4 or 5 years, so that's something I don't think we'll stop doing.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of an up and down season, you know, beating some top teams and then losing to some teams in the league below us, so I think hopefully the second half of the season we'll look to be a bit more consistent, make sure we're beating those teams that we want to be ahead of come the end of the season.
In the last couple of years at Reading we've conceded some goals that we'd say were soft goals, so I've been trying to emphasise being hard to beat whilst also keeping an attacking and free-flowing edge particularly on our counter-attack play.
I actually think there's no pressure whatsoever this year. I think we might be not quite in the top 4 at the moment, but actually I think a lot of people had written us off completely before the season started. We're just doing what we can this season, rebuilding a little bit, and maybe I think next year we'll put ourselves under a bit more pressure to actually achieve something that the sort of Reading Hockey Club name merits.
Longer term, I think we'd like to be more regularly back in the playoffs. I mean, we've been up there for a long time as a club. We lost a number of players this year, so we're sort of rebuilding this year, and I'd like us to be up there regularly competing for silverware again.